Nintendo recently announced the Switch 2, along with a new Mario Kart title and a Nintendo Direct scheduled for April 2nd. What's interesting is it seems that this April Direct will be solely focused on the Switch 2 and Switch 2 games. The last Direct was June of last year, over 7 months ago, and I'd find it hard to believe that there aren't some unannounced Switch 1 games. So my first prediction is that there will be another Nintendo Direct this February, which will only cover Switch 1 games. More realistically, it would probably be a mini Direct, since I'd expect Nintendo to have switched their first-party development teams to start working on Switch 2 hardware over 2 years ago. I'm not going to make any predictions for this potential Switch 1 Direct since it may not even exist. But the Switch 2 Direct, on the other hand, I'm going to be going over my expectations and my predictions for Nintendo's biggest franchises. First up is Pokemon, and the reason I want to start with Pokemon instead of Mario is because Pokemon Day is coming up before the Direct on February 27th, which means we can expect a Pokemon Presents to showcase new games and announcements. Last year, Pokemon Legends ZA was announced with the release year of 2025 on Pokemon Day, and since then, there has been absolutely zero news for anything Pokemon related, which means my expectations are through the roof for Pokemon Day this year. I don't think it'll be enough for Game Freak to just show us gameplay for Legends ZA and give us a release date, which I do expect them to do. I'm expecting an announcement of a completely new Pokemon game as well. I don't think it needs to be the Gen 10 games, but just a new game. It could be a new spin-off game or a remake, but there's got to be something else. And I predict that it'll be a spin-off game. Either a remake of a previous one, like Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky, my favorite Pokemon spin-off game, or a new one in an already existing series like Ranger or Pokepark, or even something completely original. And if Nintendo really wants to sell Switch 2 units on release, they'll make sure that at least one Pokemon game will be available as a launch title. Nintendo has never released a main series Pokemon game along with a console, so if there is a Pokemon launch title, it'll likely be a spin-off game, not Legend ZA. The last original 3D Mario game was Super Mario Odyssey in 2017, so I 100% expect a new main series 3D Mario game to be announced with a full gameplay trailer similar to Odyssey's first trailer. Since it's been so long, I wouldn't be surprised if this game can be a launch title for the Switch 2 as well. The Super Mario Odyssey mechanics and engine is so fun and polished that it would be a waste for Nintendo to not make a sequel to Odyssey or at least a new game using that engine. I don't expect a new 2D Mario game or a remake, but I do predict that a new Mario sports game could be in the works. Mario Tennis Aces was released about a year after the original Switch launched, and it made great use of the motion controls on the Joy-Cons. I think it's about time for a new Mario baseball game, but that just might be because I absolutely loved Mario Super Sluggers for the Wii when I was younger. With Tears of the Kingdom releasing a year and a half ago, and Echoes of Wisdom releasing only 4 months ago, I'm not expecting much from the Zelda series in this Direct. In fact, I wouldn't even expect a new game to be announced. If a Zelda game is announced during this Direct, it'll either be a remake of an old game like Ocarina of Time, or a port of either Twilight Princess or Wind Waker. And my money's on Twilight Princess. Animal Crossing New Horizons released in May of 2020, almost 5 years before this Direct will take place. And I'm sure Nintendo took notice to not only the massive success that it had in sales, but also the increase of Switch sales due to Animal Crossing. My sister bought a Switch literally just for Animal Crossing, so I expect the next entry in the Animal Crossing franchise to be announced during this Direct. And I don't think it'll be something like New Horizons 2, but rather a completely original idea. One of the most anticipated games of 2025 is Metroid Prime 4, but we still don't have a release date. So we can definitely expect to see a new Prime 4 trailer, which will end with the reveal of the release date. Considering this game was originally announced in June of 2017, this game will not be a Switch 2 exclusive, but rather be similar to Zelda Breath of the Wild and released simultaneously on both consoles. And I think it's entirely possible for this game to be a launch title with the Switch 2, also just like Breath of the Wild. Other than that, I wouldn't expect anything else from the Metroid franchise in this Direct. Super Smash Bros. Melee HD. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't think Melee players would even play that. I don't think I would. At least competitively. There will 100% be a new Smash game released on the Switch 2. Either Smash 6 or a deluxe port of Smash Ultimate. But I don't expect to see anything Smash related in this Direct. If there is anything, it'll be a pleasant surprise, but it'll probably come later down the road. Kirby and the Forgotten Land was the last entry in the series, which released in 2022, so I wouldn't be surprised if a new Kirby game was announced for the Switch too, especially considering that Kirby and the Forgotten Land was the best-selling Kirby game to date, at 7.5 million copies sold worldwide. I wouldn't expect this to be a launch title since Kirby isn't exactly a big system seller, but hey, who knows? Maybe they've been working on this for a while. Now call me crazy, but I think a new F-Zero game is in the works. The last main series F-Zero game was F-Zero GX for the GameCube, released in 2003. But Nintendo did release F-Zero 99 on the Switch in 2023, a multiplayer battle royale F-Zero game that's included with Nintendo Online. I wouldn't expect to see a new F-Zero game announced, but my prediction is that Nintendo's working on one, and they'll do a reveal similar to the Metroid Prime 4 announcement with no gameplay, but simply a reveal that a new F-Zero game is in development. And it won't be a launch title, because that spot is reserved for another Nintendo racing game, Mario Kart. Since we've already seen a look at the new Mario Kart game, there will definitely be a full gameplay trailer for Mario Kart, which I expect to be a launch title for the Switch too, and have a bundle similar to the original Switch. From the little gameplay we've seen, this game will allow up to 24 racers and include some sort of fuel or boost feature, it looks like. There'll also be slight character redesigns like we see with Donkey Kong, looking more similar to his arcade version than the rare redesign from Donkey Kong Country that we've had for many, many years. Speaking of Donkey Kong, the port of Donkey Kong Country Returns was recently released on the Switch. I think it's about time for Donkey Kong to get a new entry in the franchise. The last one was Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and people loved that game. And I do remember there being some rumors about a 3D Donkey Kong in the works a few years ago, but nothing really came out of that. So if those rumors were based in truth, maybe they're just saving it for the Switch too. Now, I've never played a Fire Emblem game, so I don't know much about the franchise, but I do know that it's pretty popular in Japan, so there will probably be something Fire Emblem related announced during this direct. It likely won't be a completely new main series game since it hasn't really been that long, but probably a port, remake, or spin-off. Nintendo will announce a completely original IP as a launch title for the Switch too. This could be something as small as 1-2 Switch, or something as big as Splatoon. But I'd be surprised if Nintendo didn't announce a new IP during this direct. There will also definitely be numerous third-party launch titles for the Switch 2 announced during this direct, but I won't be speculating on which one since my focus is on first-party Nintendo games for this video. And finally, I predict that there will be a port of a popular Wii or GameCube game from a major franchise. In my opinion, the likely culprits are Super Mario Galaxy 2 or Zelda Twilight Princess, as I mentioned before. So a quick summary. My prediction for the launch titles for the Switch 2 are a new Mario Kart, a new 3D Mario, a new Animal Crossing, a Pokemon spin-off game, Metroid Prime 4, an original IP, something Fire Emblem, a port of a Wii or GameCube game, and a bunch of third-party games. If a franchise was left out of this video, it's because I don't think there will be any announcements from them in this direct. And that includes Xenoblade, Pikmin, Star Fox. But hey, I'd love to be wrong. But let me know what you expect to see from this direct. Thanks for watching.